Powered by the Montana Television Network. This is the 5:30 News on Q2, Montana's news leader.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us this Monday. I'm Jeanelle Slade. Russ is off tonight. A missing hardened woman found dead and a community now demanding answers. The death of the 18-year-old woman in late August is now bringing forward outcries from family, friends.
Justice now! We want justice now! We want justice now! We want justice!
Today they marched adding case Sarah to a long list of missing and murdered Indigenous women and girls across the state and country. Q2's Zoe Zandora was in Hardin today and takes us to the Justice March for case Sarah to learn more.
Hundreds of marchers walked through Hardin on Monday morning, demanding justice following the recent death of an 18-year-old woman.
Somebody knows something! Somebody knows.
Family, friends, and members of the missing and murdered Indigenous women's group held the Justice March for case Sarah Stops Pretty Places, whose body was found in Hardin on August 29th. She had been reported missing by her family 2 days earlier.
We must stand together as older people with the younger generation and those in between. It's time that we become united.
A rally held at the Bighorn County Courthouse by advocates for missing Indigenous women and girls with one powerful message: justice. Justice for case Sarah, a young woman found dead at the end of August, and for all missing Indigenous women and girls across the country.
Still can't believe that this is happening, that this happened. We love our daughters so much.
They're our family members, and we need to find out what happened to them.
Desi Rodriguez Lone Bear, a missing and murdered Indigenous women's advocate, says case Sarah is the 27th woman to go missing in Bighorn County and says the families just want answers.
That's one of the highest numbers of any county in Montana, and any county in the country. And we're continuing to face red tape. The family on both sides of her family have come to the coroner, to the county attorney, to the investigators. They continue to be told that there's nothing that can be released, and they just want answers.
Enough is enough. Enough is enough. Justice for our relations. Ho-ho.
In Hardin, Zoe Zandora, MTN News.
And Zoe tells us that Rodriguez Lone Bear tells Q2 that families, advocates, community members, everyone need to continue to amplify cases like case Sarah's. Well, 2 suspects charged in connection with a major theft out of Columbus High School on Friday night appeared in justice court today, but did not enter pleas for a long list of charges. 23-year-old Dalton Hilliard from Billings and Grant Russell from Bozeman went before Justice of the Peace Pro Tem Alicia Fritz in Forsyth this afternoon. Now, both men requested defense attorneys. They are accused of stealing multiple cell phones, wallets, keys, and backpacks from the Columbus High School locker rooms, and also 2 cars, as players took on 3 forks just hundreds of feet away under Friday night lights. Now, authorities arrested both men on Saturday. They crashed the 2006 silver Audi in Forsyth. The 2013 black BMW is still missing. Now, bond has been set at $7,085 for Hilliard and $5,600 for Russell. Well, turning to weather, Bob, it is officially fall today, but first we're going to take a look back at the last 3 months.
Yeah, because that's what we call a meteorological summer, because it just, when you take into account partial months, it's just really hard to get a hold on it. So the math is just easier this way. So let me show you the way summer looked this year. As we take a look here, the average temperature in Billings this summer was 71.1 degrees, which is actually a couple of degrees, 2.3 degrees warmer than normal. And precipitation-wise, it was the 6th wettest on record for us. We had 6.21 inches of rain this time from June through the last day of August, and that's actually about a couple of inches ahead of normal. Other places like Livingston and Miles City and Sheridan, you see they all had over 60 inches of, not 60 inches, but 60 degrees or so. And Miles City almost got up to 70 degrees this summer. As far as precipitation, everybody was actually ahead of normal. And as you'll notice, it was just a kind of a wet summer. When it comes to hail, well, we had hail on the 11th and also on the 22nd, according to the National Weather Service. Let's go back to you, Jeanelle.
All right, thanks, Bob. Another big day for Billings Logan International Airport as its next expansion is cleared for takeoff. Well, today, that groundbreaking ceremony at the airport, this time for its $55 million expansion. Now, that expansion will take place over the next 4 years, building on concourses, food options, and introducing a great room to the airport. Grants have been coming in the last few years to help fund the expansion. Well, we're not even into October and flu season has already begun. State health officials say vaccines are out and they urge you to get vaccinated as soon as possible. MTN's Russ Thomas reports.
The first day of fall is synonymous with cooler temperatures, the color change of autumn leaves, and more importantly, the beginning of flu season. The Missoula City County Health Department is advising everyone above 6 months old to get the flu vaccine now.
We've all gotten our flu vaccine in. We are definitely starting to vaccinate people with flu right now. The Centers for Disease Control recommends that everybody really ages 6 months and up through 105 gets vaccinated by the end of October.
The end of October is an important date to the CDC because it takes up to 2 weeks for the vaccine to fully take effect. The deeper into fall we get, the closer we are to reaching the height of cases of influenza.
The peak of flu season can vary anytime between December to February, but because of that wide variability, we just never know when cases are going to start popping up.
After a harsh flu season in 2017, which saw an unusually high number of severe cases, 2018 was much more benign. Morris says that with the strain changing from year to year, it's hard to tell how bad this season will be.
We want you to be protected ahead of time. It won't do any good if you've already been exposed and then get a flu vaccine, and I think that's when people think that it didn't work.
For the 6th straight year, healthcare providers around the state have teamed up to reach those in rural communities through the use of the Care Van. Care Van is a mobile outreach program which holds 160 clinics around the state throughout flu season to get to those who can't get to the bigger communities that provide the vaccine.
The Care Van helps our partners become mobile, and a Care Van clinic runs just like it would if you were to go into the public health office or your doctor's office.
The mobile clinic is in Clinton until 6 p.m. and will visit Bonner, Frenchtown, and Seeley Lake over the next 3 days. In Missoula, Russ Thomas, MTN News.
Thanks, Russ. And Moore says although the vaccine is not 100% effective, those who get it and still contract the flu will experience a much more mild version. Well, Montana's only congressman, Republican Congressman Greg Gianforte, appeared before the U.S. House Judiciary Committee last week. There, he chastised majority Democrats for focusing on impeachment of the president rather than important issues facing the nation. Gianforte, who is not on the committee, appeared before the Judiciary panel last Friday on a day when any House member can testify. In a 4-minute speech, Gianforte said the panel has impeachment fever and that Democrats have been grasping at straws trying to reverse the results of the presidential election. He said the panel should spend its time addressing more important issues such as repairing the nation's broken immigration system. But he spent the most of his time criticizing Democrats for their approach to solving gun violence. He took particular aim at a bill that would require background checks for gun purchases from private individuals, a bill the House passed in February, but that has stalled in the Senate.
In fact, it would make it illegal for a victim of domestic abuse to borrow a gun for protection. And it is a dangerous step towards a national gun registry and ultimately confiscation. Maybe it could focus on evidence-based solutions that don't infringe our Second Amendment rights. But instead, this committee has been taken over with impeachment fever.
Gianforte also suggested to the committee that it do more to examine the FBI, CIA, and the deep state within the federal government. Gianforte is leaving his House seat next year to run for governor of Montana. Well, there's more news from across the state tonight. 3 black bears shot and killed by Fish, Wildlife and Parks after killing a family dog. We'll have those details and more on tonight's MTN 9 o'clock news on the CW. But first, on tonight's 5:30 news here on Q2, while the Sperry Chalet is being rebuilt in Glacier National Park, students at Columbia Falls are building their own cabin for the park. And in sports, can anybody knock down the Huntley Project volleyball girls? Scott shows us why they are so unstoppable.
You're watching MTN News with Jeanelle Slade and Russ Riesinger. Storm Tracker weather with Bob McGuire. And sports with Scott Green. This is the 5:30 news on Q2, Montana's news leader.